Daryl. It's nice to meet you. I'm Allie. I'm a clinician here at this facility. How are you?
I'm alright.
So what brings you in?
Well, I got a DUI, my second one, and now I have to come to treatment, so I'm here.
Alright, you want to tell me a little bit about your DUIs?
Well, I got the first one a while ago, and they made me do treatment, but I just kept drinking, and completed my treatment, and, then I was doing good for a while, and then I got caught again, so got in a wreck and ended up in the ER, and I had some minor bumps and bruises, and they sentenced me and told me I had to do treatment again, so.
So I heard you say you did your treatment and you were doing good for a while. Define doing good.
Well, I, was living life like I normally did, and things were going okay. I wasn't in trouble with the law anymore, and just kind of going about my business.
Okay. So you were still doing the behaviors that you were before, just not getting caught? Not having any consequences?
I was still drinking, yeah.
Okay. Alright. I just wanted to clarify that. And now you've gotten a second DUI. You had some minor injuries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Messed up my truck pretty bad, but, I just had some bumps and bruises, but they took me to the emergency room anyways, so.
Was anyone else hurt?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, it's bad that you got in this accident, you had some injuries, but it's good that nobody else was hurt.
Yeah, I'm glad nobody else got hurt.
So when you were being treated for your injuries, what did the staff at the hospital say?
Well, they gave me a few stitches and sent me on my way, told me I needed to follow up with my doctor. So I went in there and they did a workup and told me that my liver was a little bit enlarged and, might have some other problems, but that was after the fact. So.
Okay. So you have an enlarged liver now?
Yeah.
And did they indicate if that was due to drinking?
They said it probably was, but I don't know if that's really what it is. It could be anything.
Okay. And tell me about your current level of drinking since your accident.
Well, I go out most nights of the week with the guys from work and have a few beers and then head home.
Okay. Is this nightly or?
Probably 3 or 4 nights a week. And on the weekends, if there's something going on, we'll go out.
Okay. And you have been sentenced, and you are court ordered to go to treatment.
Yep.
How do you feel about having to go to treatment again?
I don't want to be here. I don't think I have that big of a problem.
Okay. What would have to happen in order for you to feel like you do have a problem that needs treatment?
I don't know. I just didn't think that my drinking was that big of a deal. But apparently everybody else does, so.
Okay. So in thinking that everyone else, in knowing that everyone else thinks that you have a problem with your drinking, how does that impact you?
Well, it's kind of tough because I think that had something to do with my divorce. My wife didn't like it. Now I don't get to see my kids, and that's kind of hard. I see them very often.
Oh, yeah.
But, the guys at work all go out and drink, and they don't seem to have a problem. They don't seem to think I have a problem. It's just, the judge and my PO and my ex-wife that made a big deal about it.
When you talk about the guys from work that you go drinking with, what's your level of drinking compared to theirs?
It's about the same. We all have some beers and maybe a couple
you're court ordered to be here. You don't really feel like you have a problem. So if I were to lay out for you a scale of 1 to 10, with 0 being you have absolutely no problem whatsoever with drinking, and 10 being it is a major issue in your life, where would you push yourself?
Well, probably now, because of all this court stuff and UAs, I'm probably a 7.
Okay. And how do you feel about changing your drinking habits?
I don't want to. It's, my release. It's what I go do after work. It's not, I prefer not to. It's relaxing.
Okay.
It's kind of my let out, so.
So what do you think it would take to get you to a higher number on that scale, like a 9 or a 10 of readiness to acknowledge that there is a problem?
Well, second DUI definitely kind of maybe says that there's a problem, or maybe just that I shouldn't drive after I drink.
Okay.
The doctor's office thing kind of, I just try not to think about it too much. Obviously, my liver's got some problems, and that probably is due to my drinking, but I would just try not to think about it. So that, if those got worse, that might make a difference. Or maybe I just drink more to, not think about it.
Okay. To mask it?
Yeah.
How would that help?
Just numbing. Probably make my health problems worse, but.
Okay. So what are some things that your drinking has changed in your life?
Well, I used to be married, had my 2 kids, and my wife left me because I drink. And my kids aren't around all that much. They don't like it when I'm drunk. They, say that I'm not there for them, so I don't see them very much anymore.
Mm-hmm. Some
then,
legal problems.
Yeah, my DUI obviously is causing some problems, but.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the liver.
Yeah, it's mouth problems.
So there are some issues surrounding your drinking.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a strange question. If you were to go to bed tonight as normal, and you woke up tomorrow morning and a miracle had happened and everything had changed, how would you know? What would be different so that you'd know that a miracle had occurred overnight?
Well, I'd probably have my family, and, well, maybe not my wife back, but definitely my kids would be around a lot more. I wouldn't be here.
Anything else?
I don't feel any different with my liver stuff, so I don't know that I would notice that right off the bat, but maybe not have to deal with that either.
How would the miracle impact your drinking?
I guess I just have better control of it, or maybe not drink at all, I don't know.
Okay. I know that you're court ordered to be here, so knowing that you're court ordered and you've made it fairly clear that you don't really want to be here, you don't really feel like you have a drinking problem, if we were to also put that on a scale of 1 to 10 of how ready you are to change your drinking habits, 0 being that you don't want to change anything at all, and a 10 being that you are absolutely ready, gung-ho, we're going to do this, where would you place yourself?
Well, like 10, like I'm not drinking at all, or 10 that I just would change my habit at some level?
10 being you are ready to start right now with quitting drinking.
So quitting drinking altogether?
Yes.
like a 3.
Okay. How would we boost that up? What would it take for you to start thinking more seriously about quitting?
If my health really went sour, that might help. Not that that would help, obviously, because I don't want my health to go bad, but,
Yeah.
Just thinking about that kind of scares me a little bit. Maybe if I saw my kids more, it would, kind of drinks, because I don't get to see them, so I just kind of want to hide my pain.
Okay.
So maybe if I got to see them a little bit more and, do what we used to do and hang out and go fishing or hunting or, the baseball game, then I'd feel a little bit better about, I wouldn't feel like I had to cover up that hurt.
How would you be able to spend more time with them? How would that happen?
I don't know, they're teenagers, they don't want to spend time with, with parents as it is. So, I guess I could go to my older son's football game. Not that I would be necessarily with him, but I'd be there for him.
As a support?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I don't know, like I said, they don't, aren't interested in hanging out right now, so I just drink instead.
What about your younger one? What could be different with him to make things get better?
Well, he's kind of my book smart one. He just loves to learn and to read, and maybe I could, I don't know. He used to like to go hiking, and maybe I could try to see if he wanted to do that. That was a long time ago. But
Okay. So I have this sheet here. It's a benefits and costs worksheet, and basically the way that it works is over on this side we'll talk about the benefits and the costs of continuing the drinking, and then on this side we'll talk about the benefits and costs if you change your drinking habits.
okay,
What do you think? You want to go through this with me?
sure.
Okay. So on the continuing to drink side, if you were to continue to drink, how would that be good? How would that be a benefit to you? What good things would come from that?
Well, it helps me relax, and like you said, it masks the pain of not, having my family around, and helps me not think about my health that's going down the toilet. Get to hang out with some friends and, the guys from work and have a good time.
Okay. So to continue your behaviors of drinking, you would be able to basically forget about the problems that your drinking is causing. You'd forget about the pain, and you'd be able to hang out with the guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to continue to drink, how would that cost you?
Well, I still wouldn't get to see my kids.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't want to be around like it is now. I can only imagine that, my liver would get worse rather than better if I continue. It's kind of expensive.
Oh, yeah.
The hangovers aren't the greatest either. Headaches and, yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of?
Well, I don't think it'll help probation.
Probably not. What about some of the things that you were masking?
Probably just make it worse.
Okay. So we've got quite a few costs there that continuing drinking would keep on adding up on you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what if you were to change your drinking habits? If you you were to cut back or quit altogether, how would that benefit you?
Yeah, I'd probably have more time to try to be with my kids
Okay.
if they even want to do anything.
You'd be able to take that time to rebuild that relationship?
Yeah, I would try to.
Okay. What else?
Well, it'd probably save me some money. Use that towards something else, I'm sure. And probably do a little bit better at work when I wouldn't be late.
Oh.
Sure, it'd make the probation officer happy. Just want to get off that. That's stupid.
Okay.
My health might improve a little bit. I don't know if my liver will ever go back to normal, but I'm sure if I quit it wouldn't get worse.
Okay.
Well, I hope. I don't know how that works. Yeah, I don't know.
So we've got some definite benefits there. Trying to rebuild your relationship with your kids, the hope that your liver would regenerate and get better, get off of probation, no more PO, excuse me, no more PO breathing down your neck, work. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what if you were to quit drinking? What kind of costs would be associated with that?
Well, I wouldn't be able to go hang out with the guys anymore.
Why wouldn't you be able to hang out with the guys? Is that all you do together?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what we do after work. We just go have some beers.
Okay.
So I'm sure that if I, went and I wasn't drinking, they'd just give me a bunch of shit for it. So, I don't know that I'd be able to relax like I do now. Wouldn't get that buzz anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I did stop with my kids, they'd even be interested in, seeing me still, so. I just, I like to drink. I don't know why that's such a big deal.
Okay. So I'm hearing that there's a lot of unknowns if you were to stop drinking. You don't know what you would do to fill that time that you've spent drinking. You're not sure about the friend situation because they are your drinking buddies. And you're not sure if your kids would even want to rebuild a relationship with you.
Yep.
Okay. So those are some pretty scary things.
Yep.
Not knowing. Have you tried to talk to your kids at all?
I talk to them occasionally.
Okay.
They're teenagers and they're doing their thing and they don't want to listen to me, so.
Have they ever brought up your drinking?
Yeah, they'll say something occasionally, but I'm sure it's just stuff their moms put into their head.
What have they said?
Just that, that's all I ever do and that I would never be there for them, and that's the same thing their mom used to say, that, I just would rather do that than have a family or be a dad, so I feel like she's just feeding them full of her thoughts.
What if those were their thoughts? How would that impact you?
It would hurt. I want them to know that I love them and that I would be there for them. And I don't think that my drinking makes that big of a difference, but maybe they do.
Okay. So let's pretend that those are your kids' thoughts. Would that change your readiness to change your behaviors, your drinking patterns?
change their thoughts about me.
So what would it take for you to want to make some changes?
Well, I would, want them to let me back in, to be, be part of their life and be the dad that I would like to be. It scares me because I don't know if that's even something that they would consider.
Okay. What if you were to call them and try and talk to them and ask them if you were to change your drinking habits, if they'd be willing to work on rebuilding your relationship?
I guess I could try something like that.
What kind of reaction do you think you would get?
I don't think they believe me.
Why?
Just because that's what I've always done. I've always drank since they were little.
Have you ever considered stopping and tried to talk to them about it and not followed through? Or would this be something completely new and different?
It would be something totally new.
Okay, do you feel like they would support you?
I would hope so. But I honestly don't know.
Okay. Would you be willing to give that a shot? To ask them if they'd be willing to be your support, your cheerleader section, so to speak?
I could see if they would be willing to do that.
And you guys could start rebuilding your relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the friends? That's another concern of yours, that you won't have those drinking buddies anymore. Do you have anyone else that you can talk to or hang out with that is not a drinking friend?
Well, yeah, I've got my brother. He doesn't drink a whole lot. I mean, occasionally, but they invite me over to do stuff sometimes, but usually I'm already with my buddies, so I just stay there.
So you'd have more time to hang out with your brother if you weren't going to the bar with your friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Has your drinking impacted your relationship with your brother?
A little bit. He's, always still there for me and invites me over quite a bit. But, I don't go over there as much as I probably should. I'd just rather go to the bar with my buddies than over there because, like I said, they don't drink very often and that's my escape, so.
Okay. How would you be able to escape without going to the bar and drinking?
I don't really know. I mean, if my kids would hang out, then I guess we could do some of the things we used to do when they were younger, and say go fishing or hiking or whatnot. Like to spend time outside, do some camping maybe. But I used to drink around the campfire too, so that might be kind of hard.
What kinds of things do you think you could do camping that are not drinking related, but still fun?
I'd probably take them on a ride out with 4-wheelers and go riding for a while.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I just don't know if they would do it with me.
Okay. So, we've kind of gone over some benefits and some costs, both with continuing drinking and with stopping drinking. After considering those benefits and costs and weighing them out, has your readiness to change your drinking behaviors, has that changed at all?
Well, there definitely seems to be more benefits if I were to stop. But I'm scared that, what I think I might be able to do, like you said, to replace it won't work, which would make me just go back. something different, you know, 1 or 2 nights a week.
Okay.
Maybe.
So you're willing to try at least to change your behaviors to start with 1 or 2 nights a week?
Yeah, I
Okay.
could probably do that.
And how will you keep yourself from drinking on those 1 or 2 nights a week?
Well, I do have some things around my house that have been needing, you know, to be done.
Okay.
I could maybe make plans to work on that a little bit.
Would you be willing to spend some of that time making phone calls, to talk to your kids, to talk to your brother,
Yeah,
to try and rebuild those relationships?
yeah, my brother would probably come over and help me. I asked him to.
Oh, that would be great.
I know he's mentioned that he would do that, and I've just never done it, taken the time to do it. So that would probably be helpful. And I'm scared to call my kids. I don't think, you know, I talk to them here and there, and it's a short conversation on their end. They're always running if they even answer the phone. So I don't know if they'll even take the time to talk to me at this point.
Okay. You mentioned going to your oldest's football games.
Mm-hmm.
Does the younger one usually go to the games also?
Yeah, but, you know, he's hanging out with his friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he wouldn't want to hang out with me while he's there, but I think he goes most of the time.
Okay. What kind of a response do you think you would get if you were to invite him to hang out with you at your son's football game one of these times?
You know, probably come say hi for a minute. I don't think he'd want to spend the whole game with me. He's at that age, he'd rather just hang out with his friends, but I'd probably ask him.
How willing do you think he'd be to just hanging out with you for a quarter?
He might be able to do that. I could, you know, ask him.
You guys can have some bonding time. Maybe you could use that time to talk to him about being a support for you if you were to quit drinking.
I don't know if I'd want to do that at the football game.
Okay. What would be an area that you'd like to, that you would be comfortable talking to him in?
Maybe I could have them, you know, both boys come over for dinner. We used to do, you know, family dinners, and I really liked those, so maybe we could do that one night or something.
That would be nice. So, do you think that this week, during your 1 or 2 nights that you have decided that you won't drink, you can invite the boys over for dinner, and you guys can sit down and talk? How willing would you be? How willing would you be to do that?
I'd probably call and talk to them about it one night.
Mm-hmm.
And see, maybe not this week, but next week if they would want to do that.
Why not this week? Why would you wait?
I guess I'm just nervous about talking to them about it.
Understandable. This has been a big part of your life for a long time. Okay. What if, for this week, you go 2 nights without drinking after work, call your boys, and talk to them about coming over for dinner next week? And that way it will give you time to think about how you'd like to approach them.
Okay.
Is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you be willing to share those thoughts with me next week when we meet and tell me how the conversations went and what you did on those 2 nights that you didn't drink?
Yeah, I could probably do that. I don't know how I'm going to tell the guys at work that I'm not going out with them.
Okay. Have you ever turned them down before? excuses then?
I think one of the times, I think my mom was in the hospital, not doing very well, and so I had gone to see her, and I don't remember the other times what I had going on. I just had something that I needed to get done, I think.
Okay. So you've already planned that on those 2 nights this week that you're not going to drink, you're going to make the phone call.
Right.
And you're also going to talk to your brother about coming over and helping you fix some of the things that you've neglected around the house.
Right.
Would you be willing to use the fixing the things around the house as an excuse? How would that look if you were to tell them, hey, I got some stuff I gotta do around the house?
That would probably work.
Okay. So are you feeling a little bit better about those 2 nights this week?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I can commit to getting, I'll pick one theme. I've got a few around the house
Okay.
that I'll do one night, and then the other night I'll call my kids.
Okay.
I can probably do that.
Do you have any questions, comments, concerns for me before we wrap up for today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So same time next week?
Okay.
All right.
So I just need to make note of how it went with my kids, and then make sure I'm gonna make it known with the guys that I have one night with my kids and one night that I'm gonna work on the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Sounds good. It was great to meet you, Daryl.
You too.
I can't wait to see you again next week and see how things went with your boys.
Hopefully they're good.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right.